Hey everyone, today we are making 3 bracelets that, well, for a man, but honestly, I think a woman could wear them too, so it doesn't really matter. But the ones that I have here are ones my husband picked out and said that he would definitely wear, so we're gonna go by his taste, and he's not a big jewelry person, so I feel like I can really trust his opinion on these. So we're gonna go through these. I'm gonna make 3 bracelets. They're gonna be 3 totally different bracelets from the other. Like, they're just gonna be totally different. One we're even gonna use some leather cord, and we're going to do the sliding knot closure for that. So I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. It's a little fumbly at first when you first do it, but it's actually pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So we're gonna do some men's bracelets today. But like I said, to be honest with you, I would make these for me. All right, guys, I'll be right back.
Okay, so first let's take a look and see what kind of things we pulled together. So I have these beautiful Jasper cubes that are really cool. The square shape is probably seems, you know, kind of masculine, and I am teaming it up with some square shaped gold spacers, which, you know, will look really nice with that. Oop, there's a little round one. How'd he get in there? You know how it goes. So that's going to be one of them. We are also going to be using the tiger tail from Panda Haul in this video. I'm not using any of the beads from Panda Haul, but I am using the tiger tail, so we are featuring that. And I have to say, the tiger tail that I used from Panda Haul in a previous video is holding up super nice, and I love it. So this may be a game changer for me, you guys. So, but I'll put the info for that in the notes as well. But all these beads came from my stash. I really honestly have no idea where I got these. I think everything in this little container, even the gold spacers, came from one of those bead kits where they tell you how to make a certain thing. But most of the time I just took the beads and I'm like, I don't want to make that. So I just took the beads. So I'm pretty sure that's where this little container came from. It was probably meant to be something else. Today it's going to be a masculine bracelet. In this one I have, I can't remember what the name of these beads are. You guys will know and shout it out at me in the comments. But I got it from Bead Box Bargains, I think a couple years ago. I got it because I loved it, but then I loved it so much that I just hung on to it. So this one will actually be a really good focal for a bracelet. I'm keeping them all kind of thin. It seems like, you know, he likes like the thinner style of jewelry. And then I have these spacers that we're going to use, and this is going to be our leather one. But I also grabbed these spacers because I thought, you know what, maybe we'll want some of the bigger ones up by the big bead. So yeah, so I got some of these too, and I thought they looked like they could be masculine as well. So we have those. And then in this last one, now I'm going to butcher this name. This came from Sam's shop, and it's dendritic. So I don't know exactly what it is. It was the first time I've ever heard of it, but I loved it because I loved all the black and white and gray in it. And it's just really a gorgeous strand of beads, a little 3mm beads. And then I have these really nice like hematite spacers, and these are just from my stash. I have no idea where I got these from either, you guys. I'm so sorry. I think I've had them for quite a while, but they are super cool, and I thought teamed up with this, it would make a really cool bracelet. And I think when we undo the string on this, I'm going to be kind of picky about how I lay out the beads. So we'll kind of walk through that and talk about that too as we go. So along with the tiger tail, I have some leather that I got from Sam's bead shop as well. So he was having a live sale, and he had some leather that was on sale. I believe this was either $3.99 for the spool or $5.99 for the spool. but it's a 1mm leather, so we're going to use that. I tend to use a lot of 1 or 1.5mm because it goes through a lot of beads. I haven't done too many things in the higher millimeter, but I am hoping to learn more and maybe do some like weaving onto leather, because I really like those kind of bracelets too. So, but we are going to be using this. This is going to be the first one we make. And what I have, you don't have to use, if you have a noodle, this noodle is really excellent for making knots. So if you don't have a noodle, don't despair. Take a disposable straw. I know you probably have one in your junk drawer in the kitchen from like Burger King or McDonald's or Wendy's or something that they gave you an extra and you didn't need it. Grab that straw, cut about an inch or 2 of straw off that straw. Keep the rest of it in your craft room because chances are you will lose that little portion you cut off. And use that in lieu of this, and you'll do the same exact actions and you just get the same exact results, except for you didn't have to go buy a bunch of tube beads. So let's go ahead and do this one first. So this is going to be our leather bracelet that's going to be adjustable, so I don't need any clasps at all with this. And so you know, usually when you make a bracelet, you're going to measure on your wrist, right? Well, we're going to want to double what I think I'd want, because normally I would say, well, I probably want this much, right? If it's going around my wrist. We're going to double that because of the slider knot that we do on for this bracelet. And I will measure this out for you and give you what I am using. So I actually cut off just a little hair over 22 inches, so almost 22.5 inches worth of leather. And yeah, some of that's going to be waste, but that's okay. In order for me to get the results that I want, I had to do it that way. I have just like random beads. Like I don't even know how those spacers got in there. All right, so let's just kind of shove these off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these packs, and we're going to get a few of these out because I think I want to use some of these as well. So let's just grab some of those. And we're going to string from the center. We're going to do the center bead first. So let's just put our string right through this big, beautiful focal. And if you guys remember what these are called, please shout it out in the comments so that I can remember, and everybody else who doesn't know what they are will know what they are now. All right, and let's just take a few of these little guys and string them along each side. And I'm still going to use my wrist as like a measurement. I just know that I'll have to do like an extra inch and a half worth of stringing to accommodate for my husband's wrist. All right, so we're doing 3 of those nice little round spacers, the disc spacers. And then let's do quite a few of these little guys. And I don't think I'm going to bead all the way down to the end. I think we're going to see what 10 on each side gives us. And we'll go from there. So this video is going to kind of help a couple things. So it's going to give you a couple, I'm going to have a couple examples of how to close off a bracelet, but we're also doing some men's jewelry. And you know, like as far as necklaces, I've seen men wear all kinds of gemstone necklaces. Like they're usually like a shorter necklace, usually like, you know, close to the neck. Small beads. I have seen some wear larger beads, but a lot of them are small or even shell, like the shell heshe beads. Those are, you know, still a popular item. They didn't go out in the 90s like everyone thought they did, or the 2000s. They're still around, and they're still popular, and they're still being sold at all your little beachy gift shops and everything, and people are still wearing them. So this one's going to be very metal heavy. I think these spacers came from Michaels, and I think I've had them for quite a long time. But I liked that they have like a little bit larger of a hole than some spacers. Like these fit over a 1mm leather strand like super easy. And I think that's what makes me like them so much, because I like beads that give you options. Like I don't want to just always string or always make links. Like on wire, I would really like the option of using leather more. You know, I really do like leather jewelry. A lot of my beads, it just won't accommodate. And I tried to use the 0.5 leather, and I am such a brute when I'm tightening things that I usually end up snapping it. And then I'm like, well, that's not a good sign. Like if I'm breaking it by tightening it, you know, what would happen if you accidentally caught it on like your, I don't know, like car shifter or something. I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that you could catch it on. But yeah, I don't think I'd really like that. All right, so let me see, make sure I have 10 on each side here. So there's 5 and 5. There's 5 and 5. Okay, good deal. Yeah. All right, so this is how the first one's going to look, and it's going to be pretty simple, but I like it. So let's move all this stuff off to the side so we can give ourselves some really good focus with what we are doing here. This is where you want to be able to concentrate on the task at hand. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, because I don't want these sliding around, I want to just do one single overhand knot on each side of this, okay? I want to just make sure I have enough leather on both sides, and I do. So I'm just going to take one side and just do a simple overhand knot. So you just cross it over and bring your end through the loop. And you want to do this kind of slowly, because you really want to guide that knot and have it sitting right. And you'll see what I mean. Like if you went really fast, this knot could be all like cattywampus, and then your leather would be weird. But if you do it slow, you can guide it to be a good little knot. So there's a little single knot. All right, and then we'll just do the same thing on this side. Just a little overhand single knot. And again, just being very deliberate with our placement. Just be patient with it and just slide it down slowly so you can play with that knot and get your leather pulled in the right direction here. And see, there's still some wiggle room. I still left a little wiggle room so that it'll fit nicely around the wrist, but now it's only going halfway. So see, it's a halfway bracelet, because I want to save room to tighten this or to loosen it for, you know, so to put it on and off. All right, so now this is where the knot comes in. So you're gonna have two sides of your leather, right? So you have one in your left hand and one in your right hand. So you're gonna wanna take your right hand one over top of your left hand one. So it's just like that. And then, I just forgot what I was doing. Hold on. Oh yeah. And then you're going to go ahead and have your left hand string laying flat underneath your right hand string, okay? So there's my right hand string right here in my left hand, and my left hand string is in my right hand. And you're gonna lay that right hand one on top of that without uncrossing them. Like you still want them crisscrossed, okay? And then you're gonna take your noodle or your straw, whatever it may be, and hold on to those threads, because you don't want them to go anywhere. And you're just going to take it and you're going to wrap it around over back, like behind and through, and then again behind and through, and however many times you want. You can do 5, 6, 3, whatever you want to do, but keep going until you know you are ready. So there's one that's like, it's going to be 5. So let's go around, and then when we get there on our last loop, we are going to hang on to those little loops now with our fingers, and we're going to push it through either our straw or our noodle, and then we can pull our straw or noodle out. Nope, you know what I did? I did it wrong, guys. See, even someone who has done it like several times, I'm doing it wrong. Okay. So you're gonna cross your right over your left, and then you're going to, I had it backwards, and then you're going to leave your the right hand string that's in your left hand on top, okay, and your left hand string that's in your right hand on the bottom. And I went over the loop backwards. Then you're gonna put your noodle on there, all right, and then take your string, the one that you're hanging on to in your left hand, and then you're going to go over top of this noodle, and instead of going back this way, you're going to go the opposite way. Sorry, so you're going to go towards your right hand, okay? Just like so. And you can do that as many times as you want, because what you want to have happen is you want a string on both ends of your bracelet. So now we'll put it through the correct end, which would be the one on the right, and we're just going to shove that through, and there's our other string. And so now we have these loops, and you're just going to carefully pull them together to make your knot. All right, now only one side is adjustable. See how if I pull on this one, it's adjustable, and then I can pull this back out. So the challenge is to make this so it looks pretty even when you get it closed. You know, I don't like the way this knot is sitting. You guys, we're gonna do this. We're gonna try one more time, and this will be good because then you guys can see it happen one more time the right way. Except for I think I'm gonna make a little change to what I have going on here, because you do want one to be longer than the other. Hold on one second. You guys like this, right? When I leave my errors in here and I redo it a few times. I just want to make sure that I am giving you really super good directions. I didn't practice my knot, and I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm going off of my memory, so please bear with me. I probably should have did some brushing up on this before I started, but I'm just one of those people that kind of just goes for it. All right, so the one you're going to want to move, you want it to be like longer than your other one. So the one you want to actually slide, like your right hand one, is going to be a longer string than your left. So we're just going to pull that left in a little bit, like so. And we're going to make one of these strings longer. If I don't have it by this time, you guys, then I'm just going to say, you know what, it's going to be good enough. It's for my husband, and we're going to call it quits. But anyway, so you're just going to do the same thing. So you got them crisscross, and you got them laying flat against each other. And I wonder if I took this side. Let's try to take this side, and let's do our loops. So I think I want to do it. Oh yeah, I want to do it that way. So over and through, over and through, over and through, over and through. That was a nice looking knot too. All right, so now we have all those. put our strand through there. And like I said, if you stop and like really look at it, whichever end your strand is going through, you want it to go through the same end as where you have the string that's just hanging out, because then that means your string will come out on the correct end, this end, because you want one on each side. So just look at it that way. All right, so now we have our knot. And you can just play around with it, get it to look right. And then, so it adjusts, okay? And it's gonna just adjust on one side. One side will just like tighten the knot, but the other side is going to pull it. So that you can get it on, and then you can pull one of your strands and then get it back off there. So now we're just going to finish off our ends. I like to usually put like a little bead at the end, and see, like I said, we're going to have a little bit of waste, but it's not going to go to waste because I will use this in other projects, my little scraps. And we want to just see like how far we actually would need it to go out. So now this is going to go over a man's hand. So a man's hand is usually bigger than ours. So we want it to be able to go out a little bit more, because what we're going to do is we're going to actually kind of create like a little stop, right? So I think this should be good enough because it slides over my hand super easy. So we know that that's as far as we really want it to go. So let's go ahead and put one of our beads on here, the side that doesn't move. Okay, so we're gonna just put it right here. I'll leave about that much room, about 1/4 of an inch. Oh, let's do more than that. Let's do about this much. And then we're just going to do a little knot to secure it in its spot, or like get it to where it's not going to fall off your strand. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and close that back up. And then we can kind of look at it and say, all right, well then I want the other one to be about the same distance away. So let's go ahead and string on our other one. And I'm still gonna do a video on how to do different closures. So I will practice this a little bit more, and because I plan on doing a couple of knots too, so you guys can see how to close off using a knot. I have a couple different ways that I've done it, and this one's just, to me, the easiest one to do. So I like to do this one, you know, take the easier path. But I do have a couple that I have used and can show you how to do them. All right, so there they are. They're both about the same length, okay? And now let's go ahead and cut this one off right about there. And let's do the same thing with this one. All right, so we got bracelet number 1 done, and this is a really cool, simple, mostly metal, one large focal that could be masculine or feminine, and it's on leather, and it has an adjustable slide. So perfect. I love it. All right, so I'm gonna clear this off and get everything ready for the next one. Okay, so let's make this one next, and this was the dendritic. Well, I'm probably butchering it. These gemstones and some hematite spacers. So we have those, and I keep finding like little silver ones in my, in my spacers. Okay, those little silver ones, they just migrate everywhere. So I said earlier that I wanted to do kind of like be real specific about the beads. So we're just gonna cut this off. All right, and we're going to spill all those out onto our mat. These really are just gorgeous. So I'm thinking about doing something kind of like graduated, like do all the, you know, a bunch of dark ones and then gray ones and then, you know, lighter gray ones and then white, and try to do it that way with one of these hematite spacers in between the little color blocks. So I think that's a design I think I would really enjoy seeing from this. So we have all those out. And for this one, we are using the silver tiger tail from Panda Hall. And again, I'm gonna measure it on me, but because I'm making it for a man, we're gonna make it a little bit bigger. So I want extra space for if I make any errors or like I have an issue with crimping or anything like that, I have a little bit of extra room. Okay. All right. And remember, you can always save your scraps because you can use them for like beaded tassels or even just like a beaded dangle that you plan on putting on something. You can always use them for, you know, other things. So keep your scraps, keep them in like a little jar or something, and, you know, just dig through them every now and then when you're looking for shorter pieces of things. All right, so this one I actually cut probably overkill, 16.5 inches. I'll probably have to do a bracelet for me and for my husband. All right, so we have these, and because I know how I want to do this, that I want to do a kind of like a graduated look, we're gonna go ahead and finish off one end. So I have my silver crimp tubes here, and I just want to get out a couple silver wire guardians. Now, you don't have to use a wire guardian if you don't want to. I just like to use them sometimes because it does help protect your wire from wear and tear, all that, you know, being rubbed on the clasp or whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So how you do that is you gotta put your crimp tube on first. That's what you have to do first. And then you can put your wire guardian on. You string it through one side and then string it through the next side. Okay. So now if you're planning on putting your clasp on a jump ring, you can go ahead and just feed that tail through your crimp and it's fine. But I want to put mine directly on my clasp. So I'm just gonna thread my clasp on, just like that. And then we're going to put that tail into our crimp tube. You can use crimp tubes, crimp beads, whatever you like. I just prefer, for closing off an end, I really like the crimp tubes more than the beads, but that's just my personal preference. It's, you know, it's not written in stone somewhere that you have to do that. It's just my preference. And then get yourself a pair of, you know, inexpensive crimping pliers. I think these were Beadsmith brand, I believe. I know I got them at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, one of those two places. But they have all these little macaroni shapes in the teeth, right? So you want to use your largest one and then just squish it down. And then go to the smallest one and turn it sideways and squish it. So now you have like a nice little crimp. It just kind of blends in with the rest of your design. My wire's a little kinky there. All right. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and start beading. So I wanted to start off with one of these spacers. So let's just throw on one of these little hematite spacers. Okay, so we have that starting it out. And I want to start out with probably the darkest. Now, I don't think that, I don't think my tail will go through these beads, so I think we'll go ahead and cut it off. I usually like to throw my tail through a few beads just to give myself a little bit of room in case I do make like an error with something, and I don't have to totally restring it. I have like extra string on the one end. All right, so let's just get that in there. Sorry, there we go. Okay, so now, like I said, I'm pulling out the darkest ones. This one's got a little bit of white on it. And we're just gonna do these until we run out of those, okay? So those are all my darkest ones. All right, and now it's not gonna matter how many you have, like for this one, because I just want to use however many are there. It doesn't matter, I'm not trying to do even amounts of each one. I'm just stringing them on because I want it to be, you know, every last dark one that I have. And then we'll do the same for the other. So like I said, it's not gonna matter if you have different amounts of each color or each shade. It's just not going to matter, not for what I wanna do here. So these are really nice little beads. They're faceted. They're really nice. When I first saw them, I thought, oh, those are really pretty. But then I'm like, oh, but they can be very masculine too, you know? So I'm like, yeah, you know, that would be a good idea for a men's bracelet. And then, you know, I just never think about men's jewelry, I guess, because I know my husband doesn't wear jewelry. So I'm like, it's never in the forefront of my mind. Otherwise, I'd probably do it more often. But when someone's asked about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't do a lot of men's stuff. I don't think I did anything for men since I've started doing these tutorials with you guys. So thank you for suggesting it, because I totally would have lost touch with it. All right, so now we're gonna put on another one of those spacers, because we're just gonna use those spacers to divide off our colors, kind of give it some definition. So next I'm gonna use these more darker spotted gray ones, and we're just gonna pull out however many I can find. There's one. There's one. Okay. Oh, that one can wait till the next round. All right. So let's go ahead and put these on. Again, just beading until I run out. I don't care if I end up with 2 colors on here, or 2 shades on here, or 3 shades, or 4 shades. I don't care. We're just gonna do it until it runs out, because that's what I want this bracelet to be. I know it doesn't really make a lot of sense, you guys, but I don't know. I'm trusting the process in my head. This is just what I set out to do, and I'm hoping that my inner brain vision works out on the mat for me. You guys, I really want to thank you for all the suggestions and feedback you guys have given on some videos. I've asked you questions and you're answering, and I love it. I love it when I can hear your voice, because all in all, like, you guys watching this is like the reason for me to be here, you know? And I need to hear, you know, your good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is. I need to hear it, so I can, you know, act on it. All right, so there's all my darker colors. This one's kind of questionable, but we're gonna say it's okay, it can stay. All right, and now let's just see where we're at with this bracelet. So it's just gonna be a very simple beaded bracelet, which this is what my husband said he'd wear. He'd wear a very simple beaded bracelet like this. So this is what we're doing. Very nice, simple beaded bracelet. Okay, so now we're gonna just find all of like the lighter gray, leaving behind the white, the ivory, and the clear-ish ones. So we're just gonna find all those. And there's quite a few of them. I think that one counts. I think the rest of those are real light. So we're gonna leave those in their little pile. And let's go ahead and string these on. It kind of reminds me of concrete in a way. You know what I mean? Like that grayish color. And I think maybe that's why I think it looks masculine, because I kind of view it as like concrete in a way. Okay, I was going to take me a minute to find that hole. So every year where I work, we do a home show. It's not like a showing homes, but we call it a home show because, well, all of our customers are contractors and they do stuff in homes. And we get with our vendors and we have really big, really good specials and really great raffles. We raffle off some really good stuff, product and other things too, like TVs, Yeti coolers, stuff like that. All right, so now this one I'd probably stop for me, but I know that I need to go like another probably 1.5 inches. So let's do some more of these speckly ones. And so we do it every year in September, and we're starting to get ready for it now. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts to get ready for it. And it's really a fun time of year, but it's also, I mean, it's exhausting. Like, so like the next 1.5 months is going to be just exhausting and, or 2 months, I should say. Yeah, it's just going to be tiring and exhausting, and I'm going to need the, I'm gonna need you guys like to be able to vent to when I have a rough day. I probably won't have any rough days. I don't usually have rough days around that, but I mean, just being like pooped and wanting to unwind by making jewelry is enough for me. So it'll keep me happy and keep me going. But it's kind of like prepping for like a really big holiday, right? It takes you weeks to plan and prep for this big holiday, and then like you're doing a meal, and then within like 30 minutes after the meal's done, it's over, and you're like, I just spent like half my life planning for Thanksgiving, and now it's done. Like, how fair is that? But that's kind of how this is too. All right, so I think maybe I'll string on these last 2 beads and then we're gonna call it good. And we're going to close this one off. And I still have some of those beads left, so I'll put them back in my stash. All right, let me just test it out one more time. I'm always afraid I'm gonna make it way too big, but I think that's gonna be just about right for my husband. All right, so let's go ahead and see how much wire I have left over. I really did overthink it, but I'll save this and I'll make a bracelet for me out of it. So put on our crimp tube, just like we did on the other side. And this time we're gonna close it off because I'm gonna put a jump ring on this end for the clasp. So we don't need to string anything else on our wire guardian. So let both of those fall. Notice I'm holding that crimp bead right here in my hand because it's just habit. And then just string your wire through. String it through your crimp tube. And we already know that it's not going to fit through those other beads. So let's just go ahead and pull it down. And now this is what's important too, because on the other side, it's easier to tell if your wires are crossed. On this side, it's a little bit more difficult. You just got to really pay close attention to where they end up when you're pulling it down and what it's doing. So giving it some room there, but we also want to leave a little tiny gap right here, because once I let go, these will loosen up a little bit and it'll give it some more movement. So we're just going to use our crimping pliers again, big side first, then turn it around and use the little side to make that nice little pinch right there. And then we can trim off our tail. And see, it's a good sized tail. I can use that to make a bracelet. And then here is our second. Oh, I almost forgot something. We need a little jump ring. Let's open up this jump ring, get that on there. There we go. And then there is our second of 3 men's bracelets. So I really like the way this one turned out. I like it how it goes from darker to lighter. And this is why I was telling myself to trust the process because I really like the way that turned out. All right, you guys, I'm gonna pause it, clean this up, and we'll make our last one. Okay guys, we're on our last one now. So we have these beautiful square beads that we're going to use. They're just gorgeous. Let me just kind of spill this out. And we have these nice little square spacers. These little square spacers, they also work really great on leather too. I probably could have fed those on a leather band, but these would not have gone on to the leather. I have some little random things in here, like a little teeny tiny bead cap. I wonder where the rest of those are. All right, so here's our stuff that we need. We have our clasp and our jump ring. We have our gold wire, and I think this time I'm probably going to maybe do a little less. So I'm going to cut this and I'll let you know how much string we end up with. Now watch me be too short on it and I end up being angry at myself and struggling with at the end trying to finish off an end. But I'm also going to trim off this little bend here because that annoys me. If it wasn't bent so bad, I would say it's probably fine. I can straighten it out a little bit, but that one was too hard to do. All right, so I kind of want to do the same thing with this one in a way. Like I want like the darker, but I want to do like the darker in the middle. So I would just want to find all my dark green. I think that's pretty good for my dark green. So let's do that. So we're going to start in the middle and we're just going to string these. Oh, let me see if I can tell you how long this one is. Get that going first. All right, so this one I only cut 12 inches. So that might be cutting it a little short, but we'll see. All right. So let's just start putting these dark green ones on. Just grab them and string them on. Doesn't matter how many there are. And then we're going to, is that another dark one? Yeah. All right, and then we're going to put a gold spacer on each side. This one will go pretty quick because the beads are so much bigger. All right, so there's the darker green. And then let's go with some of these lighter ones. Got all these lighter greens. That's kind of a green. These are more of a brownish. All right, but we have a couple that are like that, and the rest of these are like more like an olive. But we do have an even number, like we have 10, so we're gonna do 5 on each side there. And I'm not gonna be too worried about what order they go in. I just wanna put them on. I think the more rustic it looks, like the better it's going to be. And green just happens to be my husband's favorite color, so I think he might like this one best. I don't know, we'll have to see. I'll get him to vote on them, and then I'll let you guys know what he says. Okay, so there's our lighter green. Let's see where we are as far as fit. Okay, yeah, we're doing good. All right, so next we have, and I saw that I had a couple that were kind of a little bit crummy, like really kind of chewed up here. But if we need them, we'll end up using them. So I got a couple like that. I have one of these. Yeah, that might actually work out. So let's see where we're at. Do the gold. Let's do these two. Actually, let's do this green one first. And then let's do these two. And then this one, and then that brown one. Then let's do this side. And let's do the same thing. All right, and now we're gonna try it and see what I think. It's probably gonna be enough. So let's see, let's just kind of hold it up to this one. Actually, those two last brown ones are gonna probably be too much. So let's take those off. They'll probably end up in my bead soup, which is fine. And so let's go ahead and let's just double check it again. Because I think this was a really good measurement. So let's just see. Okay, yeah, that's right. So now we're just gonna finish it off. We're not gonna use any more spacers. We're good with spacers, so we can put those away. I need one of those like little bead scoops or something. There we go. All right, so we have some crimps, but these are the ones from Beadbox Bargains. These are the ones that have the little, they're like the little stop it bead. So they're not your typical crimp. They have the little, that little thing that you push down and it crimps your beads, your wire for you. So we're gonna use that. And let's go ahead and, oh, I should probably get some wire guardians. All right. And we're gonna feed on our little crimp first, just like we did with the other crimps. Nothing has changed. And then put on our wire guardian. Has anyone else been having problems with gnats this summer? Like we never keep fruit out anywhere or vegetables or anything like that, but we have had such an issue with gnats this year. I don't know if it's the extra humidity or what, but oh my gosh, I got those little apple-shaped gnat traps like everywhere right now, just trying to get rid of them. They're terrible. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm putting my clasp on right away. And then let's just feed the wire through. And again, you don't want to have your wires crossed. And we're gonna just turn this little crimp around so we can see that little plunger. That's what we need to go after. Now you're supposed to be able to just use your regular pliers and close it, But I had a hard time last time, and I ended up using my crimping pliers to do it, which is fine. I mean, I think I just had more leverage with them, or it like gripped them. So we're not gonna monkey around too much with that. We're just gonna go ahead and place it in there, because these have these nice little grooves that you can sit something right in. If I can get to stop twisting too, that'd be helpful. And you just push down on that little button, and it flattens. And now you have a crimp, and it looks like a little bead. So you don't need to do like a little bead at the end of your design, because this looks like a little bead itself. So pretty handy, actually, pretty handy. So just like the last one, we have a jump ring. So we're just gonna do this and close it right off. Yeah, I had plenty of string, look at me. All right, so let's let that crimp slide right down. And then we're just going to bead through we're going to string through some of these beads. Okay, we're coming out of the second one there. There we go. Push it through. And then we're just going to pull on that strand until we pull it down. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, oh, I grabbed the wrong things. Hold on. All right, so now I got it wrangled. Now we can go in and squish down that little notch. And then just tug on it, make sure it's all good. Go in and cut off your tail that you don't need. And then we'll put on our jump ring. Yeah, and there's still some wiggle room here, but because they're square shaped, it's kind of weird. I probably should have put a spacer between each one, but I wasn't thinking about that, but it's okay. I forgot that the square shapes don't lay as nice as the round shapes do. My mistake. All right. So here is our green bracelet. Our nice Jasper square bracelet. Oh, come on, get on there. There we go. There we go. So we have made 3 masculine bracelets in just a short amount of time. 3 totally different bracelets, and I think they all turned out great. I hope you guys liked them too. If you have any other suggestions, let me know. I tried to make sure we got a nice variety of things for you to look at, and I will be doing a video on just clasping. So we'll go through some different techniques and things that you can do with ending your necklace or your bracelet or whatever you are making. All right, you guys, much love to you all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again real soon. Bye.